Hello everyone, so a quick video on this undervolt. We are now at 225 watts, 85 degrees. We peaked at 90, 230 degrees, and the platform is a Z490 Vision. So it's a gigabyte motherboard with Thunderbolt, and we use for Macintosh. This is a Fortis, which is now I think called Endorphy as the brand. It's a single tower, quite huge, and 140mm fan, Vega 56. So yeah, it's an Macintosh basically. We're now tuning the memory, and I also wanted to show a little bit of some secondary voltage undervolt that I did. So this past testman 5, a couple of linpacks. Linpack scores are not super consistent, so that is a bit of a concern for me. Usually you want the scores to be pretty much equal between runs, which means that you are 100% stable and you don't have any like retransmission errors. This is mostly something for DDR5, which has a lot of error correction also. DDR4 doesn't have all of those retransmission and check-in mechanisms, so it is even stranger that you have, again, those slight different scores between runs, but it might be related to the fact that we are running super close to the power limit, which I set because I don't want the CPU to go over 90 degrees. And yeah, I mean the performance difference is like non-existent, and the power limit is set to 224 now, and we're actually under that even with Y Cruncher at the moment. We didn't touch it, and that is because I did some undervolting on those secondary rails, and that is also the reason why that undervolt gave me a slight, very slight performance increase in the end. So I'll show you what I mean as soon as Y Cruncher finish. So there we go, and we're now trying to figure out what chips we have inside, but it only says generic Samsung, I think. Yeah, no, Hynix, sorry. So this should be CJR, that's my guess, because of the part number here, but there's nothing else other than Hynix here and the die density. So this was like very basic, like JDEC memory at 3200, and these are the timings and settings and everything. So TRFC 666, and I'm as well. I mean, if I lower this, I actually get some higher scores for linpack and also Y Cruncher, but they get a lot more erratic. So I get higher, some higher scores in here and there, and then the others stay the same. I count that as instability, and I didn't want to deal with that, so I kept it at this. But if I rise it, it doesn't really change this curve that you see there. Okay, if I give like 700, I get a slightly worse score all over the board, but it still does like this shape if I run linpack. And so here's the BIOS, and here's the voltages that I was talking about. These are called VCC substained, VCC PLL. Okay, those VCC PLL, OC, VCC, VTT. Have no idea what they are. Try to figure out on the internet, but very scarce information. All I know that so this one cannot go lower than this, and the stock one is 123, right? 125. If I lower this to 21, I get crashes in. I think even Cinebench crashes. So yeah, I mean for the final settings of this for the client, I'm gonna set it back to auto. And this one, I have the system run at 0.92 on all of those, but I will get TM5 errors in like 3.5 hours, so halfway, and that was awful. So yeah, 94 it is. 93 could work, but I didn't want to test it because I didn't want to run TM5 like twice to make sure. So 94 there is. They really do a little bit of difference in the score if I have the system like this, which is yeah, 234 watts clipping for the power limit. And here's an overview of the timings, and I couldn't find a setting in the BIOS for like temperature limiting, which is unfortunate. I'd like to limit this to 85 degrees or even 90, but I couldn't find that, so I hate that. It might be too hot for the summer. Here's the other settings are all related to Macintosh. This runs as a iMac Pro, so I don't have integrated graphics. And yeah, that's it. Let's run some other little benchmarks. And so here on the left you have our score, on the right the average for the same CPU, 10850K. It's not much of an improvement. Yeah, I'm quite sad about that. It's only like about 50% on the multi-core and only 10%, yeah, 10%, maybe a little bit less on the single core. So yeah, memory tuning didn't do that much, but it's still something. I mean, this core also reflects some overclock system, so ours is undervolted. I'm now running R23 on the background. I can show the power consumption here. So we peaked at 184 on a CPU, and this core is, I think it's 100 points less than what I used to get, but maybe what I used to get is on like high priority, so maybe that's the 100 points missing. So it should be 15,800, and this is pretty much in line. It used to be 2,578, maybe 2,580, but again, that would be achieved by high priority. So yeah, that's all for the video. Ciao!